morning and afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Thursday. Thank you for being a great group of students for Mrs. Tate these last few days. You have a few things to get done today. First of all, let's work backwards. At the end of the period today, the Need to Know quiz will post with about 14 minutes left in class. I know when I schedule things in the past on Google Classroom, it takes just a minute or two to show up. Don't freak out. Refresh. Go up and click the refresh button on your Google Classroom. Click the refresh button, make sure you're in the classwork section, and it will show up with about 15 to 14 minutes left in your class period. Somewhere like that. Most of you don't take that long to do it anyway, so you should be fine with about 10 minutes. Remember that you can take that quiz, that 10-question multiple choice quiz, with your packet open and find any information you need in there. And then make sure you click turn in on that or submit. I think how is how they do it on the Google Forms. At the end of the period, everybody needs to turn theirs in today. You don't get to walk out of the classroom today without getting that turned in, so please make sure you focus and get that turned in at the end of the period. Right before that, for about a few minutes, Mrs. Tate will run you through some Quizlet Live and have you play in groups and get you ready for your Need to Know quiz. Right now, where you need to be is at your Thursday 3-9 Turning Point Reflections today. So if you remember, we worked pretty hard on this last week when I was there. We worked on all of the stuff about Martin Luther from our notes, right? We worked a lot about the Catholic causes of the Reformation, the church being interested in money, and then the examples of those right here, right? So you have your indulgences, you have selling of sacraments, you have simony, and you have the selling of holy relics. That is all stuff for question number 1, which will be tomorrow on your written exam. Explain how the Catholic Church's own actions brought about the Protestant Reformation. You are going to focus on their use of money or their want of money, and then focus on explaining how these things, what they were, and then why they were wrong. So we covered that all last week when I was there. This week with Mrs. Tate, we've been going over some of the things about how Martin Luther spread, right? This is how Luther went viral article. We're talking about the cost and the time and using images like the one you see there and the one that we showed you in our notes from last week. And so we have talked about that pretty consistently this week. So what I'd like you to do today is take 2 to 3 sentences, right? This is getting you ready to write tomorrow. So this is kind of a little quick practice, right? In what way do you think Martin Luther's work spread the fastest? Choose one of them. Geez, guess what you're writing? It looks like you are writing a concrete detail, and it looks like you will then end up writing a commentary. Yes, can you write more than just a concrete detail and a commentary? You certainly can. But what you need to do today is 2 to 3 sentences. Choose one of the following 3 for this one point today. Choose one of the following 3. You can choose the ease of use of the printing press and talk about the speed, the cost, those type of things. You can talk about writing in German or printing the Bible in German and why that was important to people. And then you can talk about using pictures if you would like to, and what those pictures symbolize and what those pictures were talking about, what those ideas were being put forward with those pictures, and why that was important to people in the spread of his work. Remember, we're not too concerned with what Martin Luther is saying. We're concerned with how it's getting out to a broad range of people using the printing press. So that is your 2 to 3 sentences today. When we are done with the podcast, the screencast here, again, you can use the concrete detail and commentary format. Tell me why you believe it's the most important and why it spread the fastest in one of those 3 ways, and that will set you up really well tomorrow for your written assessment, which is basically this question, right? If you go back up to question number 2 for tomorrow. Describe the ways in which Martin Luther's works and words brought about the Protestant Reformation. You are going to focus on the spread of his work. All right, and then the same two questions from last Turning Point reflection from our Turning Point 1 before midwinter break. Reflect on a time in the last 2 weeks. This one has to be filled out. So these top two both have to be filled out. Reflect on a time in the last 2 weeks where you have really understood the material in class. How were you best able to understand it? Was it the notes that we gave? Was it the movies that we watched on Martin Luther? Was it the subject matter in general? Did you really enjoy Martin Luther? I can't imagine that there's a ton of you that are just dying to hear more about Martin Luther, but there might be a few of you. Is it the notes we took? Is it the reading that we did on Martin Luther going viral? Pretty solid article right there. Is it the crash course we watched? What is it for you that kind of got you in the mode of, like, was it practicing the writing consistently? What was it for you? Fill that spot out. Lastly, I really enjoyed actually reading a bunch of your responses to this one. Some of you really opened up and gave me some good feedback on things and how things are going for you in school. I want to be open and accessible to you, so that if you have any questions about school as a freshman, you need help, turn into a teacher, or talking about athletics or where things are in the school, feel free to write anything down there. If you don't have any issues right now, you don't want to write anything down there, that's completely fine. Just write none or NA for not applicable. But again, feel free if you'd like to write something down there. There you go. So that should take you about, I'd say 10 minutes, 10, 12, 15 minutes, somewhere in that neighborhood, right as the screencast is done, and get to it. And then when Mrs. Tate kind of has gone around and taken a look at some of your screens and see that you kind of progressed on that, we will have you play some Quizlet Live. So good luck tomorrow on your assessment. That will be posted before you walk into class tomorrow. Again, do great on your writing. Make sure you use stuff from the packet. Make sure you write in your own words, and you guys will be great. There will be a screencast tomorrow giving you some basics about the writing process, and then there will be something that will be projected on screen as you write tomorrow to kind of give you some heads up and to keep you focused on what you should be writing about. So good luck on that, and I will be back Monday, and we'll see you then. Thanks.